This time on episode 219 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we discuss the Defenders, Fish in the Jailhouse.
I'm Rachel from Tyrion's Landing, a podcast member of the Gunna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other podcasts at GunnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Director SP.
And I'm Cassandra.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. This show is recorded on Sunday, November 19th, 2017, live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast galactic-wide and interdimensional-wide via www.geeks.live. Michelle, happy National Play Monopoly Day!
Or it's also known, play this game and hate your family forever.
I want to be the car. I want to be the car. Can I be the car? I want to be the car.
How dare you own all of the blues and the purples and put hotels on there and
I can't believe you got Boardwalk.
and all the railroads.
And then eventually, I'm done with this.
Yep.
What game of Monopoly has not ended up with money splayed out over everywhere, the board being overturned?
I still can't believe people play this game. How much, so much stress.
It's supposed to teach kids how to effectively manage life, how to budget, that there's stuff that comes up with life, that sort of thing, and then how to go into servitude and debt.
Exactly.
Oh. Well, the other national day today, by the way, is Happy National Carbonated Beverage with Caffeine Day.
So happy soda day?
Yeah, basically happy soda day, happy Coke day, depending on what area of the country you're in, happy pop day. Yeah. There you go. So two, one's really bad for you and the other, well, quite frankly, is bad for you, but it's supposed to be a lot of fun in the meantime. Anyway, let's get back to the show. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. One more week. Marvel's Defenders on Netflix, Legion on FX, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Marvel Comic Universe in general.
Because of warm Subway beer.
You'd like to talk to us about stealing beer from a passed out drunk on the train, you can catch us on our website, legendsofshield.com.
If you'd like to leave us a voicemail about how you steal beer, you can do so on our voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1, 844-843-2871.
You want to leave Michelle a message on Facebook about how you steal warm beer on a train, you can leave us a note at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Podcast on Facebook.
You can tweet us your favorite warm beer at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
If you'd like to leave us a message on our YouTube video, you can catch us at youtube.com/GunnaGeek and spray warm beer all over your keyboard and screen.
And remember, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a proud member of the GunnaGeek.com network.
Well, possibly the most uncomfortable and funny scene of the entire episode. Oh, this was a good episode. And we're going to talk about it right now. The penultimate episode of The Defenders, titled Fish in the Jailhouse. Michelle and I were discussing this before the podcast started. By the way, just want to mention that Haley and Lauren can't be with us today, and they will be back next episode. But Fish in the Jailhouse. And I was asking Michelle if she had actually seen Fish from Luke Cage, the character Fish in the jailhouse, and neither of us remembered seeing fish in the jailhouse. So, Michelle, what was your alternative description of the title?
Well, it's like everyone's at the police station. You know, not only is our main team, well, minus Danny, at the police station, but also like the supporting players, Karen, Colleen, Claire, we see Foggy. It's like everybody's at the police station.
It was a cheap set, just the police station for the one episode. And Danny wasn't there, the billionaire. Danny, the billionaire. Oh, by the way, he likes to tell anybody that he is the Iron Fist that will listen.
Oh, every time Danny says, I am the Iron Fist, don't take a drink because you would be like dead.
You would definitely be dead. Now, for what it's worth, Colleen did come in and say, you know, he likes to tell everybody he's the Iron Fist, but really under it all, he's just a kid looking for his family. And when you look at it in those eyes, you're like, oh, that's so true. It's just a kid looking for his family. But we don't see him as a kid. We see him as an adult that's screwing up left and right. And he's a billionaire, too. Ugh.
Well, you don't have to be smart to be a billionaire.
Well, that's probably, I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know if I agree with that or not, because I would think you'd have to be smart to, well, okay, so you don't have to be smart to be a billionaire, but you have to be smart to stay a billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to make your money from the ground up, you have to be smart. But all you have to do in order to inherit, you just have to behave well enough to stay in the will.
Like the Waltons, the Walmart family, all they had to do was hang in there until Sam Walton passed away, and then they would get their inheritance. You know, that's kind of funny. I remember back in the day when Sam Walton had just passed away, he went from like the number 1 or number 2 richest guy in America to his kids were all in, everybody that inherited some of the estate, they were all in the top 10. So that's how rich he was in comparison to everybody else. So you're right. You just have to stay in the will and inherit it.
Exactly.
All right, Michelle, we're going to talk about the creative team behind this episode. Why don't you start with the director?
Yes, this episode was directed by Félix Enríquez Alcalá. This is the first discussion appearance on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Has 98 directing credits since 1991, including 1 Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, 2 of Earth 2, 1 Sliders, 2 of Space Above and Beyond, 2 Blade, the series, 2 Battlestar Galactica, 12 episodes of ER, 5 of Battlestar Galactica Razor flashbacks, 1 of Battlestar Galactica Razor, 1 Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, 1 Burn Notice, 2 Dollhouse, 1 Stargate SGU, 1 Castle, 1 Grimm, 1 Revolution, 1 Person of Interest, 2 The Tomorrow People, and 2 Defiance, and this episode of Defenders.
Wow, and he's got a ton more directing credits behind there, but just a couple of notes here. 12 episodes of ER. We say ER credits because of all of the Marvel characters that came from ER that eventually made their way into Marvel, like our beloved Agent May. Now, the rest of them, I mean, this touches a lot of the fantasy and sci-fi that's been on TV over the past couple of decades. The only thing that I see missing here really is Firefly, but Castle comes in there with Nathan Fillion. So he gets it by proxy.
Well, there was only there's only 14 episodes of Firefly, and a lot of these shows had multiple seasons. I mean, even Dollhouse got a second season, so.
It's true. And I watched the second season. You know, I never watched the first season of Dollhouse. I only watched the second season, and it confused me to no end at the beginning. I was like, what is going on here? But by the end, it was fun.
Yeah.
All right, so there was 2 writers or co-writers for this episode. Marco Ramirez, who is the co-showrunner for The Defenders. This is his 14th discussion appearance on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., going all the way back to episode number 77 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. when he wrote Daredevil, season 1, episode 3, Rabbit in a Snowstorm. Remember that season of Daredevil?
Oh, so good.
Definitely kicked off this whole thing, and he got the 3rd episode in that. So Well done, Marco. He also has 8 other writing credits since 2007, 3 episodes of Sons of Anarchy, 2 episodes of Orange is the New Black, 6 episodes of The Da Vinci's Demons, 1 episode of Fear the Walking Dead, 6 episodes of Daredevil, and 7 episodes of The Defenders. He's also produced Da Vinci's Demons, Fear the Walking Dead, and Daredevil, in addition to being the showrunner here on The Defenders. The co-writer was Lauren Schmidt, who has 8 total writing credits since 2004. This is Lauren's 7th Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. discussion appearance, going back to season 2 of Daredevil on episode number 136 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Daredevil season 2, episode 5, Kinbaku. She also wrote 3 episodes of Daredevil, 20 episodes of The West Wing, R.I.P. West Wing, 4 episodes of Private Practice, and she is also listed as a producer for Private Practice, Parenthood, Do No Harm, Power, Daredevil, and The Defenders. So we really have a powerhouse creative team behind this episode, right, Michelle?
Yes, and it shows.
It shows as well. In any other series, this would have been so prodding in the jailhouse or in the police station. The entire episode, almost the entire episode, just all the characters running into each other, running in and out of rooms together. This is something that could have been on a New York theater playset.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement. We're following characters. We're listening on conversations. People are pulling each other aside. There's some great camera work. It's never boring, because talking heads can be boring if not done, not in very good, capable hands.
No, and this, I think, was very capable both in the acting and in the creative team, the writing, the directing behind the episode, which was great. So everybody's in the police station. Everyone in this series, except for the bad guys and Danny, which I gotta admit, that's no big loss, is not in the actual police station. So you have Misty, you have Claire, you have Colleen, you have Foggy, you have Karen. So all this A team second players, basically the B team, is in the police station, as well as the prime characters. So this is just everybody coalescing in one place for the majority of the episode. And it was going back and forth a little bit, and you were wondering what's going on. And the transitions that they made were interesting, because all of a sudden you had one-on-one. Jessica, of course, is cuffed. I gotta ask you, so Jessica is cuffed to the table out of the 3 of them, out of Luke, Matt, and Jessica is the one who finds herself cuffed in the interrogation room. What up with that?
Probably because she has the most public profile. She publicly went up against the Purple Man, and everyone knows that she killed the Purple Man. She's been in and out of, police stations and being questioned a lot more than Luke. I mean, Luke just went to prison and he's back. So he really hasn't had a lot of time to actually make that sort of impact that Jessica has.
Okay. So it's based on profiling, not on the fact that she's the woman out of the bunch.
Yeah, I would say profiling.
Okay. So I just thought that was interesting. Also, the fact that she could have ripped out of those cuffs at any time, too. But she's trying to play nice and stay in the good graces until later, when I'm not sure which one of them did it. So we'll talk about that later. In the meantime, Elektra is really taking charge of the Hand, and she's doing everything the Hand wants anyway. So they're allowing her to do her thing, which is good. But in the meantime, we got this nice flashback with Stick and Elektra looking at recruiting Matt Murdock. And it was interesting that they placed that scene in this spot in the series. It's after Stick is dead, so we get a reappearance of Scott Glenn for an episode. But what does this tell us? Does it tell us that Elektra is still in love with Matt? And wouldn't we have wanted to know that before, like maybe last episode?
No, because it's a time of transition. When Elektra fell in love with Matt, that is a transition in her character from just mindless, obedient, to stick to falling in love and actually taking control of her destiny, or trying to. And then because in this episode, Elektra's just decapitated Alexandra and taken over, and she tells Danny that I've taken my destiny, I've taken control of it, and she's trying to goad Danny, and it's like, hey, you need to do the same thing.
That's right. And she ends up tricking him anyway. At the end, we'll get to that later, as I said. In the meantime, you have Karen and Foggy that it's almost relenting in this series, that they are trying to get Matt to stop, trying to get him not to wear the suit again. And we've talked about it before, but then all of a sudden Foggy just flips his mind and he says, you know what, Matt, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of implications here. Like, if you get caught, then all your cases get open, including mine. We're both under the microscope. But here you go. Here's your suit. I understand that things are really bad, and I know you got to take care of this, but then you're done. I mean, there's some faulty logic going in there a little bit, I would think.
I think Foggy is coming. First off, I liked seeing them back together. I mean, like at the end of that moment, Foggy's like, what's family for? And they hug and they're basically sort of like my favorite couple, and such. So Foggy's right. Matt has to be seen as just a lawyer, and having the perception of Matt being kidnapped by Luke and Jessica helps preserve that view. I think Foggy is just caught in trying to save himself and trying to be a good friend and trying to help Matt, because he knows that look of Matt. Matt is determined to get to Elektra. Matt is determined to see if Elektra is still herself and can be redeemed and saved. But Foggy knows that Matt is going to do it anyway, whether he has the suit or not. And he just, basically, I think he just gives in.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to be your friend. Here is your stuff. Also, I think Foggy gets that there's something big going on because of all these powered people are together. It's like, Matt wouldn't be involved in this unless there was something bigger. So I get that. But then that leads to them leaving the police station. And I got to ask you the question of the episode, Michelle. Which one of them made the hole in the wall?
I want to say Jessica.
You think so? You think it wasn't Luke?
Jessica has the type of F this attitude because I could just see them in the room, because Matt says, from a legal perspective, and then it cuts, and then you hear the boom, and then I can just see in that conversation, it's like, well, this is the legal this and all that, and we can do this and we can do that, and Luke is like, well, maybe, I don't know, and I can just see Jessica go F this and just punch the wall and go like, let's go, we're leaving, this needs to be done. It's been a long week.
It is. I need to get myself a warm beer for the train.
That was hilarious, because they're like, we need to get to that building, and they're like, well, should we get a taxi? And they're like, we don't have our wallets. And then Jessica pulls out the Metro card from her jeans, and that is I think that should be an iconic image that just goes for a long time. 3 heroes on a subway.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing I was thinking of with the taxi cabs is a lot of taxi cabs actually have cameras in them now. And I don't know if they're streaming Wi-Fi who's in the passenger seat, but they're definitely being recorded. So I could see not wanting to do that. But then again, the subways have surveillance too. So 6 and 1/2 and the dozen of the other there. Yeah, it was great. The 3 of them. Yeah, and they weren't even sitting apart. They were all sitting on the same bench. It was just a funny team moment. They have a lot of really cool team moments here. So anyway, you're saying Jessica you're saying, Jessica, and I don't disagree, by the way, Jessica punches through the police station wall, which is the 12-inch thick concrete cement block. She gets out of there. They get out of there. Daredevil's out with his suit on. And no, not with the suit on. He
changes. And like when they get to the building, I guess Matt slipped to an alleyway or something and did a quick change because he arrives in the suit and Jessica just rolls her eyes like, oh God, again with this.
Again with this. Go figure.
Because he's the only one with a superhero outfit. The rest of them, I mean, Danny is just all, I'm in my shirt. You know, Luke's got his hoodie and Jessica's got her jacket and jeans, and that's it. He's Daredevil stands out.
He does. I think Matt needs to get the rest of the team over to the guy that they came. I forget his name. The guy who actually made the suit in season 2. Anyway,
yeah.
So he needs to get back to that guy and give the team suits. Either that or go to the Xavier mansion, get some stuff over there because they have cool suits that they can make there. All right, so they get there. Jessica's loaded up with warm beer. Matt is changed into a suit, and they have to go through the back door in order to get in there to get Danny because they've made the team decision that Danny is most likely at the bottom of whatever's there at Midland Circle. So they're headed for Danny, and what do they find? They find what's left, the 3 fingers that are left of the hand. And so it's the 3 of them, of the defenders, versus 3 of the hand, and they size each other up in an end scene that's just an iconic, line them up scene. And you're thinking, yeah, this is going to be a fun fight. And it was. It was just a fun fight. You had cars being smashed. You had big, huge pipes, steam pipes being pulled, used as bats. You had Daredevil going just crazy with his weapons. And you had Colleen even coming at the end with the crazy chick with the sword coming in to defend him. So that was all cool. It was the best fight so far of the series, and I just enjoyed it.
My favorite is Madame Gao doing her like force pushing thing and just able to take on Jessica and Luke at the same time with the holds and the punching, hitting certain places in the body and actually causing pain. And it, you can just see the frustration on Jessica's face because she's like, I'm stronger than I look. And Madame Gao's like, oh, you poor little child. Let me kick your butt.
There was some butt kicking, but basically I think it ended up in a stalemate. I think, well, of course it's when Colleen came in too. So it was 3 versus 4 versus 3 versus 3. So I think when you add Colleen to the mix, it becomes a stalemate between them, which is saying a lot. So the defender is actually good on you for being able to pull that off.
Yeah, they're up against people who have been alive for centuries. And they basically are like, hey, we need fire. We need cover to run away.
Yeah. And then Luke just getting right in there and twisting the pipe with his hand. Honestly, I don't think that really would have worked, but fine. We'll just pretend it does, that Luke does something to make the fire stop. That was cool. Okay. So, but before the fight happened, Misty comes with Claire and says, we need to back you up. Basically, we got a minute before the force comes. So what do you want me to do? How long do you need me to stall him? And so she plays the naive cop pretty well. Oh, I don't know. They were here, but then they left. I don't know where they went. Really, Misty?
Yeah. And they know they went through the stairwell, but Luke does the, bending pipe. That's what Luke's job was this episode.
Lucas Bender from Futurama.
Yeah. He bends that other like steel thing, another pipe around the door and makes a lock. And yeah, because Colleen and Claire are going to try to blow up the building. Not up. They're going to try to make it collapse and fill in the hole because it's an implosion, not an explosion. It's going to be an implosion. because they're like, whatever's down there, we can't let the hand have it. We can't let them be able to get it again. And let's see if we can take out their leader. So let's, bring it down.
I can see where this is going. So it's based on the architect's plan to bring down the building. So Colleen gets the plans and she brings the C4 and she's like, okay, we're going to do this. And everybody's like, oh, heck, we're not going to do it. So they go through a whole dialogue and finally become convinced, yeah, this is not a bad idea to use C4 on a building in the middle of New York. Way to go. And in the end, I'm thinking to myself, once this actually happens, because I have no doubt that next episode it's actually going to happen. I've not seen the next episode, so if it doesn't happen, SP's wrong again. So, oh well. But if it does happen and they bring down the building, because the building went up so fast, I think they could just blame shoddy construction.
Yeah, they can try to blame a lot of things. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but I think it's interesting that the police station really isn't well managed. Claire and Colleen see the evidence board. Colleen just seems to walk into the evidence room and rummage. She just walks in, rummages around, and leaves with the plans to the building and the C4. What were people doing in the police station where she just walks in?
I know. Again, you got to go to the unbelievable. Okay, so first of all, New York's in shambles. You've had the Hulk take down Harlem. You've had the alien invasion. So a lot of stuff has happened in New York, as we've seen even in Spider-Man Homecoming. It's affected the MCU quite a bit too. So I can see where they're maybe in a temporary police station that really wasn't meant to do what it's doing, but still you'd think you'd want some evidentiary control and what do they call it? Chain of possession or chain of evidence.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'd want that and you just don't get it. So we need better cops in the Marvel universe. So let's get to the point where we're all trying to make at the beginning, where Elektra, she is manipulating Danny really easily. Danny is easily manipulated. He is not the sharpest tool in the box. He keeps on doing what the enemy wants him to do. And in this case, she got him to Iron Fist up and then swing for her as she's standing right in front of the doorway, the stone doorway that she wants him to punch. Danny, you're an idiot.
Yes, still an idiot. This is after Iron Fist season 1, and after he goes to Kunlun and it's disappeared, and he's still such an idiot. I still don't get it. He's been training all his life with these warrior monks, and he's supposed to be a skilled fighter. He's supposed to have defeated the dragon. You would think he would be aware of his surroundings. But no, he Iron Fist up, and it's this great sequence where she's just backing up, and he still has this glowing hand, and she just takes it and leads the fist right to the door, and she gets what she wants.
She does indeed. Now, this brings up a couple of things. So first of all, the way things are going right now, Danny keeps on saying there's a lot of things I didn't learn. I skipped school that day. There's a lot of things they didn't tell me. Okay, so he's young and naive and didn't really internalize the lessons that he was probably supposed to get. The other thing is that he just keeps screwing up to the point where I think in his battle with the dragon, I think the dragon actually fell, slipped, and hit its head. And that is how Danny Rand beat the dragon. I don't think Danny actually beat the dragon in one-on-one fighting. I think there's something else going on with that.
Yeah, because that is one of the most disappointing parts of Iron Fist season 1 is that we never see the battle between Danny and the dragon. So we have no clue if the dragon was just like, you know what, I'm tired. I don't really care who's the Iron Fist anymore. Here, have it. We don't know.
No, we don't know indeed. And oh well. But that's where I'm thinking. I don't think Danny actually did it. I don't think he's that good. I think he won by default. So anyway, that's it. I like this episode. I was thinking to myself, and the fights really made it, by the way. But I was thinking to myself, you know, this could be really plotting. I'm glad we had this after Iron Fist because I needed this refreshing. And this is the penultimate episode. Really excited for the finale 1 week from now when we podcast on it. So I enjoyed it. And I think we need to rate. We should have done this from the beginning, but we didn't. But we need to rate something. So we're going to rate the Defenders on if they are acting like a team or not on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, granted, Danny Rand was geographically separated from the rest of the team, but they were all capable of thinking in the same kind of direction here. So with that in mind, Michelle, how would you rate the Defenders acting like a team?
Well, Danny's an idiot.
Mm-hmm. So that's like -5 right there.
Yeah, but they try to make Danny better. It's almost as though it takes 3 of them to babysit this kid and to raise him. So if you separate Danny, the way the 3 work during the fight, you can tell like they weren't getting in each other's way. They seemed to be able to fight as a unit. They were able to finally come to a decision on things. I would say a 6.5, 7.
6.5 or a 7. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like 7.5, because the whole Danny thing is like, you idiot, Danny. You basically gave them everything that they wanted. And Elektra did too. She gave the Hand everything that they wanted. I don't know what Elektra's goal here is to get to the other side. She obviously had one, but I'm not sure what it was. So we'll see what happens next episode as they go back to Kunlun, because that's where it's looking like where they're going. I haven't read anything. I haven't been spoiled. So we'll see about that. Anyway, Haley's not here, but there's a couple of quotes that I wrote down, and of course they belong to Jessica. So I think we owe it to Haley to be able to say these Jessica quotes. So you ready, Michelle?
Sure.
Is sidekick a good look on me?
Oh, that was Claire, right?
That was Claire. Indeed, I tried to trick you.
Yeah, that was an interesting scene between her and Colleen, because Claire is like, I tried to get away from this. I moved, but it seems like they always find me, and somehow I keep getting involved in all of this. And Colleen is like, you know, maybe you're a foundation. Maybe you need to be part of this. You just can't stay away. You have to be involved because people need help.
Indeed. And I'm glad that just called it out. Claire's sidekick on this. Now, hopefully that won't last. Hopefully she'll become more of a main player as things go forward. But definitely in all the series she's been involved so far, which is all the Netflix series, she has been a sidekick. And then the Jessica quote that I have written down is, "Okay is long gone." This was Matt asking if everybody was okay after the tiebreaker in the sub garage thing. Is everybody okay? And Jessica's like, "Okay is gone." I mean, what? We're all here, but we're not okay.
Yeah, she's just like, it's been 3 days. It feels like 3 weeks.
Yes, that's right. And it has. It's been 3 weeks for me since I've seen some of these episodes. So I don't know if they wrote that in for people like me that would just watch one episode a week. Netflix doesn't work that way normally, by the way. I'm doing this special because I'm podcasting. If I wasn't podcasting, I would have watched everything in a weekend. So that's just the way it goes. But yeah, it does seem like a long time because so much has happened. All right. Any last words about the episode, Michelle?
No, I really liked it. I have to admit, I just went in and I just rewatched this episode, and it actually, it holds up just as a singular episode. And like I said before, I really liked The Defenders. It really is something good to watch after Iron Fist. Or you know what? You don't even need to watch Iron Fist. You can just skip it and watch Defenders. That's what my mom did. She's like, she barely watched 3 episodes of Iron Fist, and she's like, I can't. Do I really need to watch this? And I just went, no, just skip it and watch The Defenders. You'll understand it. And she just went, good thing.
So did you watch it again with her?
No. She watched it on her schedule, and then I ended up watching it separately, but she liked it. She liked it a lot.
So we don't have a Michelle's mom's reaction to this episode.
Not the individual episode, but she really enjoyed the series.
Okay. Well, if she has something to say, please bring it next week, as we will be discussing the season finale, The Defenders, season 1, episode 8, The Defenders. Really looking forward to that next week. In the meantime, if you want to catch more geeky content, we got a ton of it on the GonnaGeek.com podcast network, right, Michelle?
Yes, we have many different podcasts, including the Digital Soup podcast. And this time we're going to highlight episode 48, Battlefront, Microtransactions, and the Black Screen of Death Star. The kitchen is stocked this week with irritating news from EA Star Wars Battlefront 2, Xbox One crashing on release, and the iPhone X hates the cold. Also, YouTube gets tough. Is your flash drive secure? And Amazon secures a Lord of the Rings deal of the day. This week on the Digital Soup is beefy like The Rock and goes best with a nice hot apple cider dongle. And that's all on Digital Soup episode 48.
You could find at GonnaGeek.com. By the way, I did listen to this episode. Great episode, guys. And I am more and more glad that I did not wait for the iPhone 10 to come out, because the more I hear about this thing, between the facial recognitions, between the screen issues, between the cold issues, I'm just glad I don't have one. And I went with the iPhone 8 Plus. So thank you very much, Digital Soup, for making me more comfortable with my purchase choice. And with that, I think we're ready to close this episode off. We're going to walk through a hole into another dimension, this one out. Thank you, everybody, for downloading this show and downloading all of our shows, including giving us all the great feedback, which Lauren will go over when she gets back next time. Once again, thank you very much to Lauren and Haley for allowing me to continue while you guys took the day off. And you deserve the day off if you got a podcast with me for 219 episodes. It's tough, I know.
And thank you to everyone who live tweets. I know Lauren really enjoys the interaction with everybody, and it's really fun. So if you're watching live, make sure you're following at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Twitter and enjoy the interaction.
And Michelle, if people may be on the fandoms of the DC side of the house and they happen to be watching the shows on the CW network, they can listen to you or read you live tweet the DC episodes, right?
Yes, I live tweet all the CW DC shows, Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and of course Arrow, and that is on the Starling Tribune Twitter.
So we got a couple of live tweeters on this show normally, and it's fun to read. And since I'm on both accounts, it's fun to watch my phone explode, by the way, when they do, so to get all the great responses. All right, Michelle, I think it's time to get this one out, close the doors for the day, and enjoy our time for the American Thanksgiving. Until next time, I'm Director SP.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to GonnaGeek.com and you will find all our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com, and also artists on pond5.com and audiojungle.net. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and do not represent Stargate Pioneer Productions, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D is the property of the Disney Corporation, Marvel Studios, and ABC. No infringement is intended. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D is copyright 2017.